Hi everyone, Dr. Emery from Pain Free and Fit and Pushups. Today we've got a great shoulder conditioning exercise to help you with your shoulder pains associated with bench pressing, push-ups, or other forward motions with your upper body. So one of the most common causes of shoulder pain with pressing motions, such as push-ups, especially plyometric push-ups, where you're bouncing in and out of the bottom position, or bench pressing, or even throwing activities, is that the upper arm has a tendency to slide forward in the socket. At the terminal point of extension, when we're locking out the elbow, the upper arm or humerus has a tendency to slide outwards from the socket. This causes a disengagement of the normal relationship between the upper arm and the socket and allows that upper arm to move forward in the socket as opposed to being centered. This creates a lot of pressure on the rotator cuff tendons, can lead to impingement syndromes and all types of shoulder pain. So to correct this, there's a great conditioning exercise that we can use to train the rotator cuff's ability to uniquely hold the arm back at that specific angle. We can use a resistance band for this exercise, and we can place this band at various angles depending on your need for your specific activity. We're going to pinch the shoulder blades back together. If we don't pinch the shoulder blades back together when we do this exercise, we're going to have a tendency to move from the shoulder blade back and forth like we're doing a rowing motion. So if we pull our shoulder blade all the way back, pinch them towards the spine, all the motion then can be localized to the upper arm. Now, when we do this, let's make sure we have our correct posture positions. If you have a tendency to forward rotate your shoulder, you need to hold that shoulder blade back a little more. If you have a tendency to have a tipped scapula, which is the bottom of the shoulder blade being forward, you need to hold the tip backwards. If you have a tendency to elevate or shrug a shoulder, you need to keep that down. If you're not sure what your unique shoulder posture and mechanical disturbances are, and most of us have them, go to either the posture size or the painfreeandfit.com website. We've got a free body analysis. Check out your unique biomechanics. Learn how to position yourself to correct your mechanics. Otherwise, this or any other conditioning or healing exercise will only serve to strengthen your dysfunction, which will probably lead to more abnormal mechanics and more pain. So once we have the shoulder blade set and we set the upper arm bone in the socket, most of us have a tendency to have internally rotated arms. Our normal posture, our elbow point faces outwards as opposed to backwards. We'll need to then rotate that elbow underneath us. As we hold the shoulder blades pinched together, we're going to make a backwards motion of the upper arm that's very slight, pulling the band back in the socket. It's probably about 1/8 of an inch, 1/4 of an inch. And then as you let go, don't let your shoulder blade pinch let go. Keep your shoulder blades pinched together. So the motion is very slight, occurring in my upper arm, moving back in the socket. My elbow is rather straight. My thumb is up or slightly turned out to keep the point of my elbow in to avoid internal rotation, which we don't want for many impingement syndromes in the upper arm. And the biggest thing is keeping those shoulder blades pinched together as my upper arm slides back in the socket and then forward just a little bit. And I can use this exercise for isometrics where I hold the time that I build up of holding my arm back in the socket, and I can also increase repetitions of that arm back in the socket. Again, if you notice, my shoulder blade isn't moving. If I'm doing this incorrectly, you'll notice my whole shoulder blade moves back and forth. That's not what we want. Shoulder blade stays pinched together, very short motion just with the upper arm moving back. Now, depending on your specific needs, if you're doing bench presses or flat presses, you're going to want to position that arm in a rather flat motion. If we're going to be doing incline presses, you want to position that band up so you're pulling at the angle here because you're training the rotator cuff in that unique angle to hold your body in the correct position. If you're doing something where you're doing a lot of lateral motion out to the side, you'll want to position yourself laterally, and as you move laterally or sideways, you'll want to position that arm back in the socket as you pull in this position. So any position that you use in your fitness activities, your sports, you'll want to try to target that angle in that unique position. If you like this video on preventing shoulder pain with shoulder conditioning and rotator cuff correction exercises, feel free to subscribe to our channel. We got a lot of great videos out there to share with you. Thumbs up to help me share this valuable information with others. And remember, if you're looking for a great, unique, customized program for your shoulder pain, go to painfreeandfit.com. Our special shoulder pain healing exercise program is there to teach you about all your mechanical problems with your shoulder, how to figure out flexibility, conditioning, strengthening, balance, coordination exercises to help condition your shoulder back into a pain-free and fit state of health. Hope you enjoyed this video on shoulder pain conditioning for forward motions using rotator cuff corrections.